Don't you ever feel like your life is being pulled in directions that aren't truly your own? Like an unseen hand is quietly rewriting your priorities without so much as a whisper of permission. It's a peculiar phenomenon, isn't it? The older we get, the more we're expected to shoulder a growing weight of expectations, responsibilities, and emotional debts. Carl Jung, with his profound wisdom, once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But what happens when others start demanding pieces of you? Pieces they have absolutely no right to claim. In this discussion, we'll explore 5 demands that no one should ever make of you, especially at this stage of your life. Because the simple truth is this: anything that shatters your peace isn't worth a moment of your precious time. And the moment that profound understanding truly settles in, your entire life begins to transform. 1. The burden of others. When caring becomes carrying, there comes a definitive point in life when you simply stop playing the perpetual rescuer in other people's dramas. It's not born from a lack of care, but from a deeper, more profound understanding. Caring for someone doesn't mean you have to carry their burdens. Yet some individuals will brazenly ask you to do exactly that, to step into their chaos, clean up their messes, and hold together things that were never, ever yours to begin with. You might say yes once, out of kindness, out of a desire to help, but then, the next time it's expected, and before you know it, it morphs into a deeply entrenched pattern. What started as a small, seemingly innocent favor quietly blossoms into a lifelong obligation. Suddenly, you find yourself as the reluctant glue holding everything together, not because it's your designated role, but because no one else was willing to step up. And the moment you even contemplate stepping away, a suffocating blanket of guilt seems to chain you in place. But here's the unvarnished truth, often painful to admit. Carrying what isn't yours will always, without exception, come at a devastating cost. It's not just about your fleeting time or finite energy. It's about your health, your inner peace, and ultimately your very sense of self. You are not a human safety net, nor are you a perpetual backup plan or an eternal fixer. And anyone who consistently treats you as such has already crossed an unforgivable line. The longer you continue to bear their weight, the further you will inevitably drift from your own authentic life, from the person you were always meant to be. 2. The peril of loans. When emergency is a guise for entitlement. There's a very particular kind of silence that descends when someone you deeply care about asks for money, not because they're facing a genuine crisis, but because they've made a string of poor choices and somehow expect you to magically fix them. It's a silence thick with unspoken pressure, a suffocating blanket of guilt, and often a chilling undercurrent of emotional manipulation. "You're my father," they might plead, "my sister. You have to help me." But do you, really? Lending money in your later years is rarely, if ever, a neutral act. It's not simply about the dollar amount. It's about what that money truly represents. It's your stability, your hard-won safety, the quiet comfort you painstakingly earned through decades of tireless sacrifice. And once it's gone, it doesn't just vanish from your bank account. It takes a significant piece of your peace with it. People often delude themselves into thinking they're just asking for a loan, but what they're truly doing is making you shoulder the heavy consequences of their own life choices. And if you dare to say no, they swiftly twist the narrative, painting you as the villain. But where then is their accountability? Who is asking whether they even deserve what they're so casually requesting? Do not, for a single moment, confuse genuine generosity with self-erasure. It is not selfish to vehemently protect your financial boundaries. It is profoundly wise. You've done more than enough. You have earned, unequivocally, the right to say, no more. 3. The quagmire of conflict. When family drama becomes your burden. Family conflict possesses a strange, almost magnetic gravity. It seems to pull you into its orbit even when you desperately try to remain on the periphery. "Please talk to him, Mom," they'll implore. "Fix things with her, Dad." Suddenly, without warning, you find yourself thrust into the role of emotional referee in a match you never asked to join. But here's the truth most people are afraid to voice aloud. Some fights are simply not yours to solve. Being the peacemaker, while it sounds inherently noble, often has a darker, more insidious outcome. More often than not, you become the unwitting target, the vulnerable middle ground, the one everyone conveniently blames when things inevitably fall apart. All the while, you're burning precious emotional fuel you no longer have to spare, draining your reserves for battles that aren't yours. Imagine this painful scenario: siblings squabbling over your home, a place you hold sacred, even before you've departed. It becomes a battleground for raw ego, ugly entitlement, and festering resentment. And you, in the midst of it all, are asked to step in, to choose a side, to somehow maintain peace in a war you never ever started. No, that is unequivocally not your role anymore. Your dwindling emotional energy should be meticulously preserved for healing, for joy, for profound self-discovery, not for fruitlessly attempting to mend relationships that stubbornly refuse to mend themselves. Let them fight their own battles. You, my friend, are no one's collateral damage. Room 4. The erasure of self. When authenticity becomes a problem. There comes a quiet, almost imperceptible moment when someone looks at you and casually remarks, "You shouldn't wear that. Don't listen to that music. Stop talking like that." It sounds innocent enough, harmless even, but what they're truly, deeply saying is, stop being you. And that, in its purest form, is an act of subtle violence against your very soul. You have spent decades meticulously becoming this unique version of yourself, shaped by moments of profound joy, searing loss, and countless choices, both right and wrong. Every ingrained habit, every cherished preference, every story you tell carries a weight of meaning, a piece of your journey. And now someone dares to suggest it's outdated, that you need to modernize your life to neatly fit into theirs. No, you are not a fleeting trend to be edited, nor are you a blank slate to be carelessly rewritten. The innate desire to remain fiercely true to yourself is not stubbornness. It is, quite simply, survival. Because once you begin to chip away at who you are, piece by agonizing piece, it becomes an unstoppable erosion. Before long, you won't recognize the stranger staring back at you from the mirror. You are not difficult. You are not rigid. You are simply rooted in a life you've earned the undeniable right to love. Never ever trade your precious authenticity for someone else's fleeting comfort. 5. The tyranny of others' emotions. When your joy is deemed inconvenient. This, perhaps, is the most insidious, the most invisible form of emotional exploitation. It occurs when someone demands that you meticulously shape your choices around their emotional needs. "If you really loved me, you'd do this," they might whine. "Please, just don't make me feel uncomfortable." What they are truly articulating is this: your happiness makes me uneasy. And that, unequivocally, is not love. It is raw, unadulterated control. The pervasive expectation that you should minimize your own joy, your own vibrant existence, simply to maintain someone else's fragile sense of ease, is a cruel and twisted distortion of any healthy relationship. It transforms your rich emotional world into a mere performance, where your sole purpose is to serve someone else's comfort. But true peace is never found in such constant, soul-crushing sacrifice, especially when it perpetually erases you. The years stretching before you should be dedicated to profound alignment with your true self, not endless appeasement of others. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to live out loud, to feel things deeply, to make decisions that bring you unbridled joy, even if others find them inconvenient or uncomfortable. You have earned that sacred right 100 times over. These 5 insidious requests, the burden of responsibility, the demand for your hard-earned money, the expectation of mediation in others' conflicts, the subtle erasure of your true self, and the tyranny of emotional servitude, share one devastating commonality. They relentlessly chip away at your invaluable peace. And peace, once lost, is an arduous, often agonizing journey to reclaim. So I urge you to ask yourself, who around you has made these demands? And perhaps even more importantly, why have you continued to say yes? You are under no obligation to be anyone's perpetual lifeline, their personal bank, their unpaid therapist, or their convenient scapegoat. You are allowed fully and completely to protect your peace, to honor your sacred boundaries, and to unequivocally choose yourself. This is not selfishness. This is clarity. This is strength. Now I truly want to hear from you. Which of these resonated most deeply with your own experiences? Have you encountered similar situations in your life? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. And if you've read this far, type the word intact. It's a small signal that tells me you're truly part of this journey, fully present and deeply committed to protecting your peace. I read every single comment, and your voice truly matters here.